So you're a business in Germany, and you know you need a great web app. But let's be honest, finding the right team to build it can feel like looking for a needle in a haystack, right? Well, today we're going to break it all down and give you a clear roadmap to find the perfect partner for your project.
Yeah, if you've ever typed web app agency into Google, you know exactly how overwhelming it can be. You're not just looking for a team with amazing tech skills. What you really need is a partner who gets your business, who understands what you're trying to achieve. The real challenge is finding someone who listens and builds a solution that's perfect for you, not just another cookie-cutter product.
All right, so before we get into the nitty-gritty of choosing an agency, let's make sure we're all on the same page. What exactly is a web app, and how is it different from a regular website? Getting this crystal clear is step one. It's actually pretty simple. A web app isn't something you find in an app store. It's an application that just lives online and runs right there in your web browser. Think Chrome, Firefox, whatever you use. For your customers, this is huge. It means instant access. No downloads, no installations. They just click a link and boom, they're in. And here's the absolute key difference. Think of a traditional website like a digital brochure. It's beautiful, it gives you information, but it's mostly a one-way street. A web app, on the other hand, is a tool. It's built to do things. It's for managing data, processing orders, letting users log in and interact. It's all about action.
And you see them everywhere in Germany, right? That local restaurant with its online ordering system, or the consultant you hired who has a slick client booking portal. These apps solve real-world business problems, and there's a good reason they're so popular. They're usually faster to build and easier to maintain than a full-blown native app.
Okay, so you've got an idea for one of these powerful tools. Awesome. But what happens next? Let's walk through the typical journey to see how a concept like yours becomes a real working application that people can actually use.
Look, any agency worth its salt is going to follow a structured process that looks something like this. It all kicks off with discovery, and honestly, this might be the most important step of all. This is where you dig deep and define the exact problem you're trying to solve. If you rush this part, you're just setting yourself up for wasted time and money later. From there, you move into design, development, and a whole lot of testing. But remember, the work isn't over at launch. Ongoing maintenance is absolutely essential to keep it secure and running smoothly.
Now, at this point, you might be thinking, hey, maybe we could just build this thing ourselves. And, while that's possible, partnering with a seasoned agency is almost always the smarter, faster way to go. Let's talk about why.
This right here, this is the absolute key. There's a huge difference between a vendor and a partner. A vendor is someone you hire to check off a list of tasks. A partner, though, is invested in your success. A real partner agency won't just blindly build what you ask for. They'll push back, they'll challenge your assumptions, and they'll suggest better ways to do things because they're thinking about your long-term growth.
So, you know you need a partner, not just a task doer. But how do you actually spot one in the wild? Okay, let's get practical. Here is a checklist you can use to evaluate any agency you're talking to. Here are 5 things that are pretty much non-negotiable. First up, a strong portfolio. A great agency will be excited to show you the work they're proud of. Second, modern tech skills. Outdated technology is a massive red flag. Third, communication. If they're tough to get a hold of during the sales process, imagine what it'll be like later. Fourth, total transparency on cost. No hidden fees, no surprises. And finally, number 5, they need a solid plan for what happens after the launch. But beyond any checklist, you've got to trust your gut. Pay close attention during that first conversation. Are they asking you smart questions? Do they seem genuinely curious about your business and the problem you're trying to solve? That initial chat can tell you everything you need to know about whether it's a real partnership.
All right, let's talk about the 2 things everyone wants to know. How much is this all going to cost, and what's coming next in the world of web apps?
Okay, let's talk numbers. For a smaller project, maybe a simple booking tool or a basic internal dashboard, you can expect to start in this range. It's a solid starting point for getting a core idea off the ground.
But, and this is a big but, if you're dreaming bigger, like a complex platform with different types of users, some AI features, or heavy-duty data processing, then the cost can easily climb past 50,000 euros. And that's totally normal. Quality design, development, and testing takes time and a high level of expertise.
Now, here's a huge red flag to watch out for. If an agency gives you a fixed price after one 30-minute phone call, run. Seriously. Without a proper discovery workshop to really understand the project, any price they give you is just a wild guess. And you do not want your business built on a guess.
And looking ahead, there are a few trends you should definitely have on your radar.
Progressive web apps, or PWAs, are cool because they feel like native apps and can even work offline. AI is becoming standard, from smart chatbots to analytics that can predict customer behavior. Of course, here in Germany, ironclad GDPR and data protection is an absolute must. And a new one that's really interesting is sustainable coding, which is not only good for the planet, it can actually lower your hosting costs over time.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Building a great web app with the right partner isn't just another IT project. It's a strategic business decision. It can completely transform how your team works, how you serve your customers, and how you grow.
And that really brings us to the final question, which is for you. Now that you know the process, the potential costs, and what to look for in a great partner, is your idea ready for that next step? Because finding that right partner is what will turn your amazing idea into a reality.